of your colleagues, and we talked about what's happened at the protests this week, have called the president Genocide Joe.
Cut it, and you're going to cut this, and you're going to clip this.
Some of your colleagues have accused the president of supporting genocide, including Rashida Tlaib. Do you agree with that word, genocide, that the president's been supporting a genocide, or does that go too far?
I already said that it was, and y'all are just going to pretend that it wasn't over and over again. It's up, man. If you're not helping these people, and you're not helping them.
You refuse to.
You're not helping them.
What's good, y'all? So we got to talk about one of the most annoying, one of the most green, one of the most childish politicians in existence, Alexandria Ocasio Cortez. Okay, so this lady somehow went from apparently being a waitress to being a congresswoman, and nobody has ever shut up about her since. She's been all over the news media. She is woke as woke can be, okay? She totally sold out a lot of her constituents, and that's one of the reasons why you saw in the intro video people are so mad, because they're trying to get her to talk to them, even if they're being obnoxious and stuff. They're still trying to talk, and she basically refuses because she doesn't want to. She's basically become one of the things that she promised that she wouldn't, which is basically a do-nothing politician, ignoring the people, basically fighting to sustain power in the Democrat Party and basically supporting everything that the Democrats in power in Congress do and whatever they want to do, as opposed to what the people, the actual constituents want, which is one of the reasons that people are so upset. Not to mention the specifics of it, where they're talking about this whole Israel-Gaza Palestinian conflict, where they want to keep going on and on about genocide, and America is essentially funding that. So America is directly culpable in the whole initiative with Israel as far as their defensive measures and their counterattacks and so forth. Now, these people ambushed her at a movie theater. Now, I don't know, because the way the video starts, you can't see if they actually entered the theater or if they waited for her to get out of the theater. Or you don't know if she was forced to leave because these people interrupted her movie experience. We can't really see that. So I don't know, maybe she'll talk about it more at some point or something later. But basically, she was interrupted while she was in public instead of being able to enjoy herself. Take a look.
You refuse to call it a genocide in front of everybody.
I need you to understand that this is not okay.
It's not okay that there's a genocide happening and you're not actively against it.
You're lying.
I'm lying?
You're not.
You went on TV and avoided talking about it.
For what? Because now you can't say it's a genocide or what? You're just acting in political ways. You can't call it a genocide, then how do you say that? We're not lying.
We're not lying.
You've been
We're on
saying it in
TV.
interviews. It's insane. You haven't been calling it a genocide. Don't tell me I'm lying. Then just say it's a genocide. Just say it. Over 30,000 people are dead, AOC. You can't just say it for once. Just say the word. That's it. That's all we want you to say. Or you're not angry about people confronting in public, but you can't call it genocide. Over 30,000 people have died.
Stop. Okay? Stop. Stop.
We're not doing anything. We're just talking to an elected public official. That's all we're doing. That's it. Cut it, and you're going to cut this, and you're going to clip this so that it's completely out of context. I already said that it was, and y'all are just going to pretend that it wasn't over and over again. It's up, man. If you're not helping these people, and you're not helping them.
You refuse to.
You're not helping them.
Now, she's throwing a little hissy fit about this. She's cussing them out and, well, what you're doing is wrong and you're just going to mischaracterize everything. It's like, well, wait a minute. Why don't you actually stop, quit huffing and puffing, quit acting like a child, and just talk to the people for a freaking second? You're an elected official, for crying out loud. You're not really a normal person anymore. You're still a human being, but you're not a regular person anymore. You're in a very high profile, high intensity position where emotions are going to run high on either side of the aisle you're on. So you have an obligation and a duty as that elected official to address people in whatever form they want to come in. Now, obviously people shouldn't be running up in the bathroom with you trying to ask you questions, but at the same time, you are expected to have a conversation with him, not just throw a fit and like, you know, she's cussing people out. Like, this is what I mean when I started the video off calling her out about this. I mean, you can see what her conduct was. She ignores and gaslights the people constantly. Okay, I've watched a lot of videos with this lady. There's a couple other videos on the channel where I've played footage from her. She exaggerates anything that has happened to her in the past and anything that has happened to her, including stuff that's caught on video. She gaslights about illegal immigration. She gaslights about this war with Israel and Hamas. That's all she does is gaslight and cap for the Democrats, and even some of her own people are calling this out. That's why these people are so mad, because they know that she is full of BS. And on top of that, she has supported stuff like this. So she's up here whining and crying, but she supported this. Look at this tweet. Okay, Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, back in 2020, okay, December 2020, the whole point of protesting is to make people uncomfortable. Activists take that discomfort with the status quo and advocate for concrete policy changes. Popular support often starts small and grows. To folks who complain protest demands make others uncomfortable, that's the point. So Alexandria Ocasio Cortez has basically radicalized her own constituents, her own people. These people don't understand what they're doing, or they don't care about what they're doing until the pendulum swings back the other way. Then all of a sudden they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. You can't just come after me in a movie theater. You know, well, okay, she didn't have a problem with that when Republicans are being bombarded at restaurants. They'd have people in bathrooms coming after people, going after Republicans. People like Alexandria Ocasio Cortez never calls that stuff out. She never says, hey, you guys are wrong, you're taking it too far, anything like that. No, she supports it. She just doesn't support it when it happens to her. In her mind, she's the good guy. The good guys aren't supposed to have stuff happen to them. These other people are the bad guys. Anything that happens to them is okay. That's what Alexandria Ocasio Cortez thinks. This is what you call karma. And there's a reason that's deeper than this in terms of why people are upset about her, because if you notice in the video, they kept mentioning, why won't you call it a genocide? Why won't you call it a genocide? They kept saying that over and over again because apparently there's a debate about whether or not that word should be used. Okay. And now what's funny is I'm about to react to a clip with y'all. And in this clip, Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, she tries to claim, well, we don't want to just shut down conversation just because people use that word. But she literally had an opportunity to, you know, calm her emotions down and talk to the people in that video you just saw, but she didn't. So her claim that she's not shutting people down for talking about genocide and refusing to use the word genocide, like, she's lying. She's literally lying when she says she called them liars and didn't even talk to them, didn't say what they were lying about. She refused to use the word herself, and they were calling her out about it. She says they're lying about it when there's video evidence, again, that I'm about to play, that she refuses to use that word. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Talked about what's happened at the protests this week, have called the president Genocide Joe. Some of your colleagues have accused the president of supporting genocide, including Rashida Tlaib. Do you agree with that word, genocide, that the president's been supporting?
Before we even continue, I just want to get this out there as a disclaimer. I really don't support either side. Like, I'm gonna be real with y'all. I really do not care what happens over there in Israel, what happens with Gaza. I mean, the only reason why I care at all is because of the implication of what could happen to America, right? So if Israel's an ally, then yeah, I understand that. But at the same time, I don't want to keep sending money over there. Full stop, point blank, period. Y'all not getting any more money. Y'all can either be our ally without it or not. You're not really an ally if you have to send money. Like, it's like, yeah, that's like almost like a trade agreement or something. It's not really like an ally. Hey, if we give you enough billions of dollars, will you promise to be our ally? So, I mean, I don't really buy that. I ain't really messing with Israel like that, okay? We need to stop sending them and Ukraine money. Just wanted to let y'all know that in case anybody's come to this video like, oh, you one of them pro-Palestinian wackos or pro-Israel. I'm pro-America first. Welcome to the channel if you're new, but I'm pro-America first.
Supporting a genocide, or does that go too far?
I think what we are seeing right now throughout the country is that young people are appalled at the violence and the indiscriminate loss of life.
You see how she didn't even answer the question. I'll just point that out. She glossed over the question. Again, political gaslighting.
Not just seeing 25,000 people that have died in Gaza, we are seeing the starvation of millions of people, the displacement of over 2 million Gazans. We have South Africa that has mounted a court in the ICJ. The ICJ ruled this week that Israel has a grave responsibility to prevent genocide.
But they're still determining whether it's a genocide. Do you think that
they are still determining
given
it?
That it's still under investigation?
What does that even mean? What does he mean that you're determining if it's a genocide? I don't know what the hell does that mean? I mean, you kind of see what I mean about this lady with the gaslighting. She's saying a lot of things. She's trying to sound empathetic, but at the same time, she's not sounding empathetic. Like, the fact of the matter is, there's plenty of stuff that they could do. She could be out there protesting with them, but as you can see, she's not. She's towing the line because the stance that the politicians and the Democrats want to have is like this pro-Israel stance. Because, I mean, obviously, Hamas attacked Israel. So, like, if I had to pick a side, I would, if I had to now, then I'd pick the Israel side. But at the same time, I mean, you can't just, like, have a terrorist attack, and then, like, get your ass kicked, and then, like, complain, like, oh, you're killing us, you're killing too many. Like, I'm like, hey, Hamas killed civilians first, and then Israel turned around trying to kill Hamas and kill civilians all along the way. I mean, that's just kind of how war goes. Like, what the hell do you want them to do? Just sit back and let Hamas just keep attacking them? Like, I don't know what you really want them to do. Nobody proposed any other strategy. All they just keep saying is ceasefire. And I'm like, I really don't understand what these people really want to happen. Like, if you do a ceasefire and it's long enough, which they proposed like a few weeks, like I believe 6 weeks ceasefire, which is, in my opinion, basically nothing. But it's not like a lot of those people are going to leave. Most of them aren't. So as soon as that clock ticks, then they're just going to start blowing stuff up again. It's not really going to make a difference unless it's like a permanent ceasefire, in which case you give Hamas the opportunity to rebuild and strike again, which obviously would also not be good. So it's like, what do you really do if you're Israel? I mean, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. But I know that the answer is probably just not, well, we're just going to stop. I'll put it that way.
I believe that they're still determining it. But in the interim ruling, the fact that they said there's a responsibility to prevent it, the fact that this word is even in play, the fact that this word is even in our discourse, I think demonstrates the mass inhumanity that Gazans are facing. And so whether you are an individual that believes this is a genocide, which, by the way, in our polling, we are seeing large amounts of Americans concerned specifically with that word. So I don't think that it is something to completely toss someone out of our public discourse for using.
If that's the case, then how come you basically just ignored these people and literally was cussing them out when they were questioning you about this? I mean, I understand the place, they say place and time, but how often do you get an opportunity to discuss anything with a politician? There's like tons of people around all the time, all the security, the very controlled environments. You know what I'm saying? And then, like she said herself in her tweet, make them uncomfortable. Now she doesn't like being uncomfortable. And then she tries to pretend like she doesn't shut down conversation, which she literally just did. These people are like, hey, can you talk to us and talk to us about this whole genocide situation? And she just kept calling them liars and just walked away from them. Like, and she didn't just walk away. She, like, you know, she like was stamping her feet away and turning back and yelling and cussing. I'm like, the lady is a joke. This is who far leftists are willing to elect, is people like this. This is insanity.
What we are seeing here is that the Netanyahu government has lost public support, and that we have a responsibility to protect the human rights and the humanity of Gazans and hostages alike in the area.
I will say this. One of the things that I never hear anybody talk about, which is hella stupid with this situation, which is why I don't support either side. I mean, I feel like the whole like super duper pro-Palestinian people, to me, in my opinion, most of these people are just extremely radical, okay? Because the fact of the matter is when Hamas attacked, they killed mainly civilians. They killed some Americans. They also took hostages. And now they're trying to act like, well, a lot of these people are the good guys. Now, I know there's Hamas and then there's just the Palestinian people who are there that are not Hamas. But, I mean, how exactly can you tell? Do they, like, wear a uniform saying, hey, we're Hamas or we're not Hamas? Like, I'd imagine that it's a difficult situation if you're an actual soldier, if you're boots on the ground, or, I don't know, you're doing drone strikes or whatever you're doing. How do you really tell these people apart? And if the enemy hides among the good guys, the question is, what do you do? You know, do you just not do anything and just back off and wait for them to attack again? Again, I'm not saying that I have the solution or I have the answer. I don't know what the answer is, but I just know that Israel's just not going to stop until they are confident. It's not really up for the Palestinian people to decide when a ceasefire occurs. Israel has to decide themselves, and then when they're comfortable, then they'll ceasefire if they believe they got all of the heavy hitting Hamas people that they need to take out. Now, as for AOC and whether it's a genocide or not, and whether she needs to talk to these people, of course she needs to talk to people. In my opinion, she sold out, so she doesn't care about talking to anybody. I mean, it's clear as day. You can see in the video like how she's acting, all the huffing and puffing, all the just acting like literally just like a little kid. And she is an elected official that people, in my opinion, are probably gonna try to reelect again. It would not surprise me in the least. But this is something that people like her have created herself, basically radicalizing people against your political opposition, telling them that this type of behavior is okay, which, by the way, I don't support this type of behavior. But if another politician does support it and then it happens to them, then I'm just like, dust my shoulders off like, hey, this is what you created. This is your monster, your Frankenstein, your karma. And now you have to deal with it. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate y'all watching the Black Anomaly Rising channel. I'm out.
It's up, man.